If you want to go a bit deeper in your understanding of how we account for property, plant and equipment, this video will help you look at how we value property, plant and equipment after we have initially recorded it at cost, so that you will have a better grip on what the accounts can tell us about what is really going on in our firms. We first include property, plant and equipment in our accounts at cost. However, for the ongoing value of each class of property, plant and equipment, a firm needs to decide whether to use the cost or revaluation models. Ryman Healthcare uses the cost model for property under development, plant and equipment, furniture and fittings, and motor vehicles, and the revaluation model for freehold land and buildings. If a firm uses the cost model for an item of property, plant and equipment, it shall be carried at its cost, less any accumulated depreciation and any accumulated impairment losses. Where fair value can be measured reliably, a firm can use the revaluation model for an item of property, plant and equipment. Fair value is defined in its own accounting standard, AASB 13, Fair Value Measurement. This standard defines fair value as the price that would be received to sell an asset or paid to transfer a liability in an orderly transaction between market participants at the measurement date. The revaluation model involves a firm revaluing an item of property, plant and equipment to its fair value after having first valued it at cost when acquired. The firm can then depreciate or identify impairment losses based on this revalued amount, so that the item of property, plant and equipment shall be carried at a revalued amount being its fair value at the date of the revaluation, less any subsequent accumulated depreciation and subsequent accumulated impairment losses. If a firm uses the revaluation model for a class of property, plant and equipment, as Ryman Healthcare does for its freehold land and buildings, then the entire class of property, plant and equipment to which that item belongs also needs to be revalued. This is an attempt to prevent firms from cherry-picking or choosing some items of property, plant and equipment to revalue or not revalue within a class of similar items of property, plant and equipment. We will look further at how we use the revaluation model for valuing property, plant and equipment in the video Even More Property, Plant and Equipment. And for further information on how we account for property, plant and equipment, go back to Chapter 5, Sections 5.2 and 5.3 in the study guide, and also review the Property, Plant and Equipment weekly questions. Also answer, write and rate questions on property, plant and equipment in Peerwise.